Okay, so the next indicators we'll be covering are the pennants and the two different shadow trading indicators and what they look like. So with the pennants indicator, to get a pennants on the chart, you'll have to add two values. So if you only add one value, it's only going to draw one line. So you're going to put two values in there. Now it'll depend on which bar size you are using and which chart size you are using as to which these values are. So you might need to just experiment with a few different values of these. But once you've actually applied them, you can even set on alerts for them. But once you have applied them, they'll basically show on the chart, and they're going to show you areas of, of pennants where there could be possible breakouts. It's good for support and resistance areas. So that is really good for that. Very simple indicator, and it's good to combine that with some other options. Now the shadow trading indicator. This is probably one of the most advanced indicators out there. And what this does is it's going to assist you in making trading decisions, whether it's buying or selling, and it helps by first of all creating the coloring of the bars. So when there are green bars on the chart, it shows that the buyers are currently in control of price. When the bars are gold, it means the sellers are in control of price. And you're going to have these little buy and sell arrows that appear on the chart. Now, once these arrows have formed, they will stay there. They're not going to repaint. And as you can see, not every single time an arrow paints does the price go in that direction, but a fair majority of the time it actually does. So as you can see, those did not repaint. They painted a signal to be going long, signal to be going long, signal to be going long. So fortunately, we're not only relying on those arrows to tell us where the intended direction is going, we're also relying on this momentum line. So when the momentum line has deviated from the price, and we're looking for a strong deviation, that is a good signal that the price will be coming down. So right now the momentum line is still pretty high, and it's at 5.75. So this line that you're seeing here, this green line will, when it'll be showing from when the price is the zero. So from 0 and above it'll be green, and minus 0 and below it will go red. So that's just showing you the current momentum of the market and who's in control. So at the moment the buyers are in control, they +3, but we are starting to get some divergences over here. Momentum line is starting to shift direction. So what normally happens in a situation like this is the price will rise up, the momentum line will drop, the price will still rise up some more, but the momentum line will stay down. That's a really good indication of a selling opportunity. So exactly where you see the momentum line now is where it will be on the far right of the chart. So as long as you have positioned your chart correctly, so you see the momentum line changes depending on how you move the chart. So as long as you have positioned your time scale of your chart that the momentum, or that this red line is down the far left like this, you should just be able to see this red line. You also want to make sure that you don't mess up this scaling, because that's heavily reliant on the indicator being effective. So if you are moving your chart, always make sure you just select the F button, which will fix the scale for the chart. So the two very important things to use this indicator is the positioning of this red line, as well as the chart not having an F on top. So you don't want to be having it any other way. You can limit the size of this chart. So as an example, you can decrease the size of the chart like this, but always keep it to the length of your screen, because that's how it's going to accurately display on your system. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back on the chart and we're going to look at times where the divergences or these arrows have formed and the momentum line has given us a very clear signal. So like I mentioned, exactly where the momentum line is on the far right of the chart is where it was in real time. So just don't worry about what the momentum line is doing after you move it like this. Only pay attention to what the momentum line is doing on the very far right of the chart. So we'll keep an eye on this one here. This is developing. If this momentum line keeps coming down and the price comes up, that's a beautiful sell signal, but we're going to see many of those in the next thing. One more thing with the chart scale. If you go properties, I select 180 as the margin on the right. You can lower that down a bit, but you want to be able to see this number very clearly. Okay, so I'm scrolling back. So this is exactly how the momentum line is showing. So we're looking at the ES now on a 3-3 bar. So we're watching the price. So as an example, here the price is coming up. We've got divergences, but the momentum line is staying up. This point, the momentum line is coming down. It's still, it was a decent direct deviation from the price like this, but it's still facing up. So we're not going to be selling until this momentum line has actually changed direction and has deviated from the price. So even in this state over here, the momentum line is very close to the price. So we're going to still watch the price, and it's only at this point over here where you've got divergences and you've got this momentum line very, very far from the price. That is when we'll be selling. And as you can see, the momentum line kept on dropping. It had a very brief time going up. So if this momentum line continues up for 3 or 4 bars, just exit the position and wait to re-enter. But if it just goes up and then drops down again, that's still a very powerful signal that this is a short, the price is going to be dropping. So the price is going to be dropping, the momentum line, as soon as the momentum line comes back into contact with price or very close to the price, that is a very good time to exit the position. So we enter when the momentum line is far from price like this and facing down, and we exit when the momentum line comes very close to price. You could also use these arrows, but sometimes they are not powerful signals because the momentum line is below. So often you'll get these little arrows that appear, but the momentum line is still facing down. You can just wait a little bit and exit. So over there, momentum line crossed over price. You definitely want to be out of a short position. And the momentum line rose. At this stage, we're not looking at entering because the momentum line is obviously facing down. It's not a far deviation from price. And then we're back to where we are now. So I'll just scroll back anywhere on this chart and I'll show you some good signals. So there they happen too. Momentum line, beautiful option over there. Momentum line is facing down, right down. But the price is also struggling to fall, even though the momentum line is going down. So we might see an increase, time to exit for sure. Momentum line is facing up. Exit, we're waiting. Momentum line is facing down. And you see what I meant by the absolute get out of the trade when the momentum line is shifting. So when the momentum line is right down like this, but then starts creeping up, but the price has not actually shown that it's going to be coming down, that is also a sign that this price is still going to be rising up for a while. So we need to just have a bit of patience on that. Momentum line is absolutely key. So, but this period over here, we're looking at the New York Open. So anyway, the first 10-15 minutes of New York Open there's not a single indicator that's going to give you any accurate indication or any accurate signals on what price is doing, because it's a complete it's a complete crazy time, the New York Open. So we just wait for the craziness to finish for the New York Open, and then we start looking for signals based on this indicator. So over there it looked like we were shaping up for a nice sell signal. Price was coming up, not yet. We're still in an uptrend. At this stage over here, that happened too quick. You see, so sometimes you are going to miss signals waiting for the price just to spike up, and then ultimately what happens is just running down. So I like to wait for that price action to be giving me this type of a movement after the divergences. So I'm waiting for the momentum line to drop below price like it did over there. I'm waiting for divergences. I'm waiting for the momentum line to continually show down, but I'm also waiting for the price to come up and bounce off at least the previous high, but still be showing down. And that's normally a very, very, very good signal that the price is going to be coming down. And then again, we've had the momentum line way below price. Even though we've had divergences here, we're still seeing the momentum line. The momentum line is creeping up. So if you were in a short position, this will be a time to jump out, because this momentum line is coming right back up to price. That there is a beautiful signal for a buy. So we're watching the momentum line. We're watching these divergences. So like I said, the price coming down, so like it didn't happen over there, but it's happened over here. So the price came down, went up a little bit, came down again, but the momentum line is facing up. So a beautiful, beautiful buy opportunity in that type of a situation. And that will act like a magnet for price. Watching the momentum line, it's coming closer to price, and at this point you can actually exit the position, because the momentum line is now with the price, so it could literally go in any direction. So a great time to enter with this one would be around this mark. You will get this arrow paint on this bar, so the beginning of the following bar, watching the price, watching the momentum line, watching what the price is doing. You're getting your divergence arrows. Prices come right up to the bar. On this bar, it's crossed, you're out of the market. So small moves, but this is the ES, so it's a decent income on that. Again, over there happened too fast. This one over here, another great opportunity to enter would have been over here. Watching the momentum line, watching what price is doing. Unfortunately, jumped up, you exit the market. Waiting for the next opportunity, which come over here. Price is rising up very nicely over here. Momentum line is facing down. You're getting a beautiful signal to jump in, watching the momentum line, watching what price is doing. Momentum line is starting now to face up. You're out the market, so for a small loss over there. And basically so on. So if you're seeing the momentum line basically follow price but still continue with price, you just do not enter a short position in that instance. Unfortunately, this type of thing, it's very hard to foresee what's going to happen with price, obviously. But this momentum line is going to give you a clear indication of what more than likely is going to happen. It is a bit risky to take, trades like that, because we haven't had a clear, like a step approach. But, if you do take positions like this, it's just worth having a very, very short stop in case that price does reverse. Otherwise, we'll miss a lot of these signals. Like that, another opportunity over there, price coming down, but immediately out the position because the momentum line is facing down. So we just got to be very careful of what the momentum line is doing. And unfortunately, we're not going to catch every perfect signal, but we're going to catch a lot of signals that are going to be very, very good using this indicator. And as we've seen, let's see what's happening on the far right of the chart. So we've had the momentum line continue down. Again, it didn't, you know, watching this as it happened in real time. You know, we definitely needed this price to spike up again, and unfortunately it didn't. So that just wouldn't have been a signal that we would have jumped on, as an example. So the best thing to do with this indicator is apply it to market replay or market playback, and just watch how it actually plots itself, and watch how you know, the momentum line affects everything, and you can see the signals. So that's what I would do with this indicator, is apply it first to a chart, watch what it does in a playback speed, so you can become familiar with how it operates. But you know, you're going to find that these arrows are going to be quite accurate a lot of the time. In fact, I did a video once of only trading these arrows, and it was extremely successful. But we do want to use the momentum line as a bonus. Okay, so the next version of this indicator is called the Shadow Trading Divergence. So it's a very similar concept. So that was on the ES, this is on the NQ. So we've got two windows on this specific chart. We've got the window at the bottom, which is going to show the divergences, and on the top. So you'll notice over here on the bottom chart, we're getting divergences coming down, and we've got these ones coming up. So that's a very good indication that there's a very, very likely chance of this price coming down. So now obviously at that specific point, we had the price come up even further, which is what it does. But you know, then we've got the opportunity to be able to even sell as soon as we start seeing these gold bars in play with the momentum line. If we go and add the indicator for the shadow trading, so if you go and add the standard shadow trading indicator to this chart as well, just make sure that you take off the bars painting. You don't want to have more than one indicator painting bars on a chart, on any chart. NinjaTrader does not like conflicts of interests, basically, with bar painting. So just disable the paint bars on the shadow trading, and obviously leave the shadow trading divergence as it is. And then what that does is it's just basically going to paint that momentum bar on the chart. You do have to go and position your chart again, like we explained with that line. And in that way, it's going to paint the arrow. So if we look at this signal over here, we're looking at the divergences. We're seeing the price come down, momentum line facing down. Great time to enter, but we're going to exit over there again. So this is going to be basically, you know, say if we entered if we entered the market over here based on that signal there, which probably wasn't the best point to enter. You want to enter when the price is higher, but say we got it in over there, watching the price momentum line has shot up, we're actually down 32 ticks. But we're watching the price, watching the momentum line, it's now shot right up. So luckily we're not still in this position, otherwise we would have an 83 tick drop. And it's only really at this stage over here where that momentum line is again facing right down. And even if we get in late on this specific signal, momentum line is facing right down, still quite flat, following price down, coming back to price, crossing over price, and there we are, so at a 66 tick windfall. So important in this situation is, if you've got a larger account and you're trading micros, yes, you can enter multiple positions as the price increases, because there's still a very, very high chance that this is going to be reversing. So it's just layering positions higher up until it eventually does, and then you're catching a nice rundown. So that's an option with that indicator. Okay, so those are the three indicators I'm going to cover on this. So as you can see with that pennants we drew earlier, it disappeared. What happened there? I think it's updated to this one over here. So like I said earlier, you've got to just apply the pennants indicator. You might have to do a different value on that to show. What did we do? Let's try with a 5 and a 5. It was a 10 and a 5 earlier. It did draw that very well, so we might have to go I'm not sure what that's going to do, so let's go a 20 perhaps. Okay, but anyway, this is going to just show different lengths now of that price. That specific pennant was invalid based on what the price was doing. This is the new one, so applying just different lengths of it. If you do, if you want to just be safe, you can also apply your own trend lines like that. The indicator is not always going to be absolutely perfect with plotting, but you can certainly go and use your own type of lines that you want to draw, and that's just going to give you just a bit of assistance in that regard. Okay, so that is regarding those indicators. So we'll look at the next ones.